Today we're starting the property video on a slightly different footing. We are up on the top of the hill. I remember that there's a lagoa here, so this is just a short walk from the property we're going to view, and I thought we'd come up and have a look at it, and it's absolutely stunning. Beautiful morning today, Sunday morning, nearly lunchtime. You can see we've got a lagoa behind us, and this is just a great place for just walk out your house, walk up the hill, and you've got these amazing 360 views, which Paul will show you in a minute. It's, if you're a bird watcher or just general nature lover, just like being in the countryside, there's butterflies everywhere flying around. It's just a really nice place. So maybe you want to do the 360, and then I will show you, actually, as Paul finishes the video, as you're going round, so you're going to take in where the windmills are. Is that the Ansiao and Alvaiazere?
It is Alvaiazere.
It is the Ansiao and Alvaiazere. And then as you keep coming round, you're going into the area of Ansiao. And actually, when you get to me here, rather randomly, I just noticed that there's a series of rocks on the floor here, and actually they go in a circle, and that would mean that there was probably a windmill hill at one point. There would have been a few, and of course we're on top of the hill. Yeah, definitely windmill. So they would have had this circle of stones, and there'd have been a windmill in the middle of here. As you follow round and go past the car, you will see a stone wall, and we're going to drive back down that track. Can't really see that it's a track, but it is, and it's, I'm going to drive it down in that car there. So it's quite wide, and we'll arrive at the property and show you then. So as you can see now in the distance, this is the village which would be your nearest village to the property, and it's right in between the towns of Alvaiazere and Ansiao. Here we are, just coming down. This is the lane that we've just driven down from the lagoa at the top, arriving at the property. The property starts here, excuse me, this is the big laurel tree up here, and you can see the car's parked here. It's not taking up much of this space here that's been hardcore's been put down. Now the idea here is not just for parking, but in that if you wanted to live on site and rebuild this property, there's a big flat space here that enables you to do so. Now walking over to the edge of the hardcore base, you can get an idea of the views, and in fairness, you can mostly see trees, but you can see that there's a distance there that you can take in. And you can see the other rooftops from the village. So you're literally right at the edge of the little hamlet. Now, taking on board here, we've got the actual ruin itself. Let's call it the front wall, is the one nearest us. It's really tall. And obviously it's slightly collapsed. So, I mean, it's got a really good height there. And the stones are still in good conditions on a couple of the walls. This one we're looking at now, nice and straight still. So, the thing to do with a stone house, if you wanted to try and restore this, somebody else will come along and say, okay, knock it down. But somebody else will say, I love the stone, I want to do something with it. You can see that where you can see the holes in the wall and there's a roof line, there was another roof line there. You could probably take that up the full height. Also, just for information size, we're going to see some big boulders that are inside the property, which shows you that there's actually a lot of material here to rebuild this house. Now, if you're rebuilding in stone or you're renovating in stone, the ideal thing to do is to ring beam the top walls. Now, here there's a certain level of well, quite a lot of building up that needs to be done. As we get slower down the hill here, you can see it's getting smaller and smaller and slightly more ruined.
Well, I think this was a single story.
I think so too.
Building, yeah.
Actually, there's a lovely hole here. Look at that.
I mean, you take it down, each individual bit, to a certain level, and then you'd ring beam it, and then you'd build up from that. And
Yeah.
of course, using like lime mortar with some cement in, so to give it extra strength.
Yeah, but you're looking at, I mean, for example, the lintels here, beautiful, great big stones, and there's plenty more inside. Okay. Okay, so here, this is the other boundary of the property. So, well, actually, Paul's got his back to the boundary, so this is the other entrance into the front of the property. You see that at some point someone put in a concrete beam and started building on top and started trying to renovate this part of the property. But from here, we walk down the garden. Again, we've got nice views. From the top of the house, you'd have really nice far-reaching views. So, in here, oh, we've still got one of the, there's a selection of stone, oh, like, look at these, whoppers. Really nice stones. And
Stones there, you know, on the floor here outside, and what still makes up that doorway.
yeah, I mean, what's in the middle there with a bit of cactus, ignore the dog, is it's an old water tank. So shift it, you. Let's move on. Come here. Oh, yeah, really nice big boulders there. And on the other side, there's more where they've fallen down this way. So one way or another, there's a lot of building material already existing. Yeah, from here, the property really is really tall, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really tall. I mean, it's like 4 or 5 metres.
Yeah.
It's got to be 5 metres tall, isn't it? The top of that wall.
Good two-story house.
Yeah. I'm not sure that I can actually get into.
You can in a little bit.
Okay.
A lovely orange tree there.
Yeah.
You probably, or you may have heard of the book, Driving Over Lemons. Well, here we've got Walking Over Oranges.
Yeah, regularly. Which is a slight shame, but there's plenty of orange juice to be had. So, reaching. So this is the Eire, your threshing circle, which would always traditionally have a small building attached to it. And that was so that obviously the crops could be stored. Maize, wheat. And here, so the property here has been pointed with a new roof put on it and a good solid door. So the person that owns this property has done a few builds himself, and he's aware that you need a hardcore down for parking and for caravan if that's what you wish to do, and you also need a lockable area so you can keep your machinery in and whatever tools that you need whilst you're working on site. So therefore he's done all the preparation that he can do to make this easy for somebody else to come and take on. Now the land.
These threshing circles are a bit of a curiosity now, and people put a lot of like barbecues and
put a pergola over the top.
Pergola over the top.
Yeah. No, you just
but
make.
The amount of work that went on in these was quite incredible back in the day.
Yeah, there's yeah, they're really pretty, and there's something that's a nice flat space that's easy to use. Coming up here, now I can see the boulders he's pointing me at. Okay. Now my only concern is I'm not sure that this is a well.
Fine.
Well, I'm not standing on it, okay? Yeah. So if Paul suddenly disappears, you know what's happened. You also know that I can't pick him up out of it. Right. Now, always good to look at the building before you walk in a ruin. Ah. Right, there's some absolute whopping stones. You're quite right. I don't know how far. Should I get out of the way? Yeah, it's just tiles. But yeah, these are cornerstones. Oh my God, I don't know how safe I feel in here. But yeah, look at these. So, I mean, these are real foundation cornerstones.
I don't know, they've come out of various places of the wall.
But
the point is, there's plenty of stone to rebuild these walls with. I mean, these days you'd probably use a small machine to help you lift them. And of course, in the old days, people just got their mates together and hauled them up. But you know, these days you don't need to do that. You can hire a digger and put some straps around them to hold them up onto the top.
Yeah.
But first of all, you'd probably prepare it. If you have a look around here, you'll see a ledge.
Yeah, I've just...
A natural ledge.
That's where the roof was, because I've just...
Yeah, that's where the floor was.
To here, that's your old beam hole, and the floor was above. You can see there's a slight ledge there.
Yeah.
It's where the edge of the floor would have gone on.
We'll take it down to that and ring beam it there, and then rebuild it. And that'll be safe as you like.
Also, on your right there, I've just realised, so we're in, it would have been, the underneath was never used for habitation in the old days. And there's your tank. So what we're in is the part that was used for the animals. But of course, these days, when we restore them, we put them to two-storey properties, pretty much always. So it's got huge potential. And yeah, plenty of building materials for you to... Even if you don't want to do it all in stone, but you want to put the features in, the big rocks in front of us will make fantastic cornerstones. So there you go. Here you can see that there's road access coming in here as well. And something else that Paul just reminded me to say about the stones. If you didn't want to try and do a renovation on a sort of half fallen down stone building, you can of course just knock it down. You have the automatic right to rebuild on your footprint. You'd need to do a project with the architect, but what you would have is lots and lots of stone for your garden walls, for all sorts of things like that. Sorry, my dogs are in next door to garden. So you've got lots of building materials, so you can make really nice features from your garden walls from lots and lots of big stones. Okay, now I'm going to go down there, and you're going to try just so I show you the bottom terrace, or are you better off on the wall?
Yeah, I'll come with you.
Okay. Excuse me while I just whistle. You do, get out. Come here. Wrong way. Right, now I remember the fig trees. Ah, there he's got in. So, here on my left is one enormous fig tree. Figs just ripening. Here we go, get a nice close-up of some lovely figs. Look at those, they look like buttons. And I know there's another big fig tree down here because I was with a client who, little Randy, I was with a client who was particularly obsessed with figs. Here it is. And so that goes to say, so that was a couple of weeks ago and she was gobbling up the figs. So that's actually interesting. So that means this tree, the figs are gone, and that tree, the figs are just coming. And this is a laurel, a bay leaf. Smells very nice. And this is your boundary. Actually, this little terrace at the bottom here is really quite private. Quite lovely. Having come down to the bottom terrace here, you can see the olive tree, which themselves, they've been tended quite fairly recently. Well, actually, I mean, I think last year, but they're still holding their shape well. And we've got the Aira just behind the olive tree, and then we come down to this last terrace. It's not a circle, let's call it an oval. Lovely big fig tree there. And what fairly is an olive pit here. So these were all made out of stone, and they were to put the olives in brine.
Yeah, you probably can't see the depth, but it's really, really deep.
So this area here, very private, quite shady. Yeah, it's nice. The house is sort of separated. You could easily separate it into 3 separate terraces, but it's interlinked and it's not huge. The land's just over 1,000 square metres. Very easy to manage. If you want to put your veggie patch in, this is probably where you do it. You've got good earth and it's flat. It wouldn't take an awful lot of preparation to make this area here into a good sized veggie patch. Okay. Some points that we haven't been making, we've been forgetting to talk to you about the orientation of the property. So if you're looking at the top window from that property, it is essentially west facing. So I've got to do this. So it's north, east, south, west over the views there. Then we've got water and electric is literally just in the road outside because we've got a neighbour next door. So it always is. And what else am I missing? That's it. We need to tell you a little bit more about the towns. Both of the towns are within you're literally right between on the old road of Alvaiazere and Ansiao, and we are about an hour and 40 minutes from either Porto or Lisbon Airport. You've got Ansiao and Alvaiazere have all of your essential daily needs, including schools up to the age of 15, 16. Then from that age on, you need to either go to Pombal if you're Ansiao side or Tamar if you're Alvaiazere side. And Tamar's the big town that way. Pombal's the big town that way. So it's a lovely location, very, very peaceful, very much in nature. I'm deaf and I can hear birds, which is really unusual. So it's a great project. Good price.
There's no main sewage in the street.
Ah, okay. So a septic tank would have to go in. That's completely normal here. You would, if you're building or you're doing anything in Central Portugal, I would expect to put a septic tank in. If you happen to be on a street where they've put main sewerage in, it's a bonus. Okay, so in summary, lovely spot, shade, ready to go. It's a project, but you can create something really, really beautiful here. Not too much land to look after, but a really good sized house. Great spot, it'd be beautiful. Please, I hope you found this video useful. I forgot to mention that there's nice restaurants nearby because I'm trying to go to one. And so please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Bye bye.